Hello and welcome to Homer for Tuesday, July 22nd, 2025. Today we will be reading from lines 502 down to 515 in Book 11 of the Iliad, in which Hector and Alexander take some shots at Machaon and some other Achaeans, and we hear about doctors. Thank you so much for being here with me today, and let's get into it. With these had Hector dalliance, and terrible deeds he wrought with the spear and in horsemanship, and he laid waste the battalions of young men. Yet would the goodly Achaeans in no wise have given ground from their course, had not Alexander, the lord of fair-haired Helen, stayed Machaon, shepherd of the host, in the midst of his valorous deeds, and smitten him on the right shoulder with a three-barbed arrow. Then sorely did the Achaeans breathing might fear for him, lest haply men should slay him in the turning of the fight. And forthwith Idomeneus spake to goodly Nestor, Nestor, son of Neleus, great glory of the Achaeans, come, get thee upon thy chariot, and like Machaon mount beside thee, and swiftly do thou drive to the ships thy single-hoofed horses. For leech is of the worth of many other men, for the cutting out of arrows and the spreading of soothing simples. Wonderful, let's sing it. Hector men meta tuoi sinomile mermera resdon. En creatipo sunet neon da la paz de falangas. Uoran pocas don tocalaute odio e caioi. Ei me Alexandros Selenes posiseo comoio. Pausenari stauon to Macao na poi menalauon. Ioi tri glochi ni balon catetexion omon. Toi hapari deison menea pneion te sakaioi. Me pos min polemoio metaclinten to seloien. Altica die domenaus prosepone nestor dion. O nestor nelle iadem cur sakaion. Agreson oceon epibese aparte macaon. Vainatos neias de takista hemonu casipus. Ietros carania polonan taxios alon. Ius tectam nen epitepia pharmaca passein. Great. So Plato cites ietros garania polon antaxios alon. A doctor is in comparable value to many other men, a doctor man. So leech here is not really it's not like animal leech. It's like doctor leech, somebody who can leech, right? It's comparable to many other men. Antaxios alon polon, right? And it's interesting that Plato cites this line 3 times, and then he never cites the line following it, because the line following it is about what the doctor actually does, which is he cuts off arrows and he also spreads, sprinkles, passo, pharmaca, epia pharmaca, right? So little, simple, gentle little pharmacies, little curing things. This is thought to have limited the doctor profession, this final line, which is why it's sometimes athetized, which means it has little daggers around it, which means textually it is not appreciated. At least this was the case for the Alexandrians. But I think it's a reasonable line, and I think it says something about techne, right? And then the other, this might not be exactly related, but the other instance of thoughts about techne that I think that we should think about is this: the top two lines. Hector men metatoisin homile me metaresdon. So Hector is stopped with them with matters concerning, NKE, right? So yeah, baneful things concerning both the spear and the horses, right? And the spear and the horses implies that he's doing both. He's both on the chariot and he's with the spear, or is he like going back and forth between them? All right. Either way, whether it's going back and forth between them or not, he is alapazdeing. So alapazdo is like to banish or to destroy. He's destroying the phalanges, the phalanges of the neon, and the accentuation here is extremely crucial. So neon is of young men, versus neon, right, with the circumflex of the omega would be ships. And I think that based on our discussion yesterday of the difference between those who are landing on the beachhead and then following up to the city versus those who actually live in the area, I think that it might be important to say ships. Some of the Alexandrians I read in my commentary did in fact take it as ships instead of young men. But it says something, I think, about that. And perhaps there's a unified relation between all these lines. We'd have to look at the Ptolemaic papyri of sort of extant other lines too, in order to get a better sense too of how the passage was like shaping up over time in history. Could be interesting, but a little beyond the scope of the Daily Homer video. But basically, the technicality of war, right, is, we've talked about arrows a little bit. Arrows coming back here. Being a doctor is a part of war, and the question is whether or not you are limited in your Homeric exposition if one defines your profession with certain things. Two things here, and then I guess we have the three barbed arrow, right? But I don't know. There's other two things I can mention, but I think that I think it might be enough. But I think this is I think it's an interesting apposition here of two lines. Famous line, neglected line. Why are they different, and what do they have to say consequentially about their immediate neighbors, and also our understanding of what it means to do something with a skill. Anyway, I leave you with that. Thank you so much for listening, and I hope you have a wonderful day. Bye.